with guys, I get the sense that we have an argument, we have a fight, right?
Yeah.
And then it's over. It's done with, and that's it. We think the whole thing's been resolved, right? But with women, they're just waiting like crocodiles with their eyes just above the waterline to, at any time in the future, right? A year later, you're just minding your own business and suddenly, thrash, he strikes.
Right.
And you're arguing about the same thing again.
She's still seeing things as she is. Welcome back to He Said, She Said, the Gen X Survival Guide. I'm Angie Geronimo, a Silicon Valley performance coach and author of the Little Wonders Playbook, known in the ring today as Angie, the Harmony Hammer.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Brian Asha. I'm an artist, an author, and a coach, and known to my legions of wrestling fans as Brian, the Truth Seeker Asha. And today, we are talking about what happens when couples take it to the mat. And not in a good way, Angie.
It's a subject that's so common, yet so critical for all of our incredible Gen X women out there.
Yeah. So we're talking about conflict resolution in relationships because we all know that disagreements are inevitable in any meaningful connection. It happens, we fight, but how we handle it makes all the difference.
Yes, you can see conflict as a relationship wrecker or a catalyst for a deeper connection to yourself and the other person. And as we've learned from experts and research, it's not the problem itself, but how you communicate and respond that determines the quality of the relationship.
So stick around because, as usual, we're not just pointing out the problems, we're all about the solutions. So by the end of this episode, you can have some real tools that are going to help you turn your conflict into communication gold. So, you know how I know that, Angie?
How?
It says it right there on the script, communication gold.
Okie dokie. So grab a coffee or some tea, settle down, and let's dig in.
So Angie, did you know that there's a phrase which you've known me to use quite often?
Oh, yeah.
And it perfectly sums up what happens when we get into a fight.
I think I know where you're going with this. I don't see things as they are. I see things as I am.
Exactly.
Right.
So what this says is that it's all about perception, right? Our emotions, our experiences, all the baggage we're dragging into the relationship. They're distorting how we perceive what's happening in front of us. And that is where so many fights go south.
True, but there's a second layer. We also tend to find what we're looking for. If you're searching for faults in your partner, guess what? You're going to find them. But if you're focused on growth and connection, that's what you're going to see instead.
Absolutely. And that's what today's episode is all about. It's about reframing how we approach conflict, right? So we're going to talk through some practical strategies, like why you should never try and resolve issues while you're angry. That makes sense. And yet 95% of the time, we're trying to resolve issues when we're pissed, right? And the other thing is how leaning into curiosity without making assumptions is going to help you get past your disagreement.
Plus, we're going to share some simple, actionable habits from the Little Wonders Playbook to reduce tension before conflict arises. Because really, who has time for constant drama? Who needs drama right now? There's enough.
I don't know, Angie. I work with you, so...
There's enough.
Just saying.
Hey, Brian, have you ever gotten into an argument over something tiny, only to realize later you completely misunderstood the other person?
Never. Me? Never. However, I do sometimes get asked why I'm working late again. I used to take it as a criticism, and get all defensive. But now I understand that when my partner asks me, why are you working late again? She's really saying, I need some connection. She's asking for connection.
Right, definitely. Here's the thing. We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. Yeah. Our emotions and unhealed wounds color everything.
That's why it's critical to take a pause and ask yourself, am I interpreting what's happening here objectively, or am I projecting my own fears here? And honestly, Angie, that's not easy to do in the heat of battle.
It isn't. But when you have been around the ring multiple times,
right?
Again, audience, I'm here married for 32 years. You start to see the same cycle, the same argument. It feels the same. It looks the same. You might even be saying the same things.
Yeah.
And there's really never ends up being, you agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started to really own that, when I remember being in my kitchen And the argument was happening behind me and I just didn't want to deal with it. So I turned to mine. I just started doing dishes or getting busy. And I was like, what is it? Suddenly a voice came up, honestly, and said, what is it that you need right now? Like, why are you upset? What is it in you? And as soon as I started turning that voice into me, it was like, I need a little more attention. And to show me this attention, you could have done X, Y, and Z. I think it had something to do with what he didn't do. But it wasn't about the thing that he didn't do.
No.
It was about like, could you look over here, you know, like I need you right now in this moment.
Yeah.
So that's when it clicked. And this was, you know, probably about 15 years ago. And really since that time, we haven't had any of those, you know, big Italian fights we used to have in our 20s.
Right.
The hothead fights, the ring fights. Yeah, they're gone. They're gone. Truly.
We talk a lot about habits. We're all about simple daily habits.
Right.
But, you know, sort of the other side of habits, kind of the dark side of habits are patterns.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And we
rolling up my sleeves.
Yeah, we find ourselves falling into patterns over and over again, right? And that's what you mentioned. We're having the same fight. We're having the same fight. It's the same fight, right? Over and over again. Right. So how can we bust through that? What do we have to do to break those patterns?
Yes, I think I'm gonna use a little wonder here, one pattern at a time. You know, I don't think we can't go from 0 to 100. We're not going to change the world in a day. It's not. But we can start to identify and live in the awareness that this has something to do with me, that it's not, if we're always pointing out there, you're never going to find happiness. You're never really going to understand how to make this thing better long term.
Right.
And what's even scarier is then you stop talking because you can't approach, you don't want to upset anybody, and now we're walking on eggshells. So unless we look inward to be able to understand what is it that I'm triggered by, then I can share that with him and we can work together. Like it takes the walls down. Yeah. And, you know, there's another little trick, which we're going to talk about in a second, which is don't try and resolve your conflicts in the middle of a fight, right? Oh, no.
You need to wait until you're calm and maybe having dinner, maybe going out for a walk, and just saying, you know what, we need to find a better way to talk about our disagreements because the way we're doing it right now is killing us. That's
not just, you know, Little Wonder's advice. I mean, that's in science. When we're upset, we can't think. We can't think well. So you're going to say something you don't want to say. You're going to do something you probably don't want to do. And everything gets worse.
Absolutely.
So to step away, and I don't mean step away for a month. I mean, just because then it goes away and you never really resolved anything. But maybe you have an agreement that I'm going to step away. And we do talk about that doesn't mean slamming a door or running off in angry energy. Yeah, yelling over your shoulder as you go. Yeah, names. And that goes double for you. Right. Yeah. Now, Angie, earlier on, you mentioned, you know, when you go looking for something, you're going to find it, right? Yeah. And that's actually a funny paradox because the things that we focus on expand. So when you look for issues, you'll find them. But if you focus on gratitude, right, and look for some opportunity, the good things, you might find that instead. It's all about energy. If you're hyper fixating on your partner's flaws, even the good moments are going to seem tainted, right? If you manage to access that gratitude in the moment, right? Instead of every nitpick that you want to bring up, you think of one way that your partner brings you some joy. Yes. That is going to short circuit the argument and the discussion getting ugly and personal, right? But that, like everything we're talking about today, that's a learned behavior. Because when the cortisol is flooded in you and you're mad as a tick, you know, it's very difficult. So that's something that you need to learn. You step back and say, okay, what is great about this person? I'm going to remind myself of that. Right. Another thing I use is stepping into the shoes of the other person. Like you don't want to hurt each other. Right. You don't want to upset each other. So now I'm going to use a really simple example, the toilet seat. Okay, the toilet seat. But, you know. You had to bring that up. It's such a simple example that, you know, we put it down and most of the time it's down, right? But the time that it's up to be fuming, right? Just, he was in a hurry. He was something, you know, you try, he's not doing that intentionally and I'll just go and close the toilet seat. But he's still not doing that after 30 years of marriage. No, it's not that oh gosh, this is a topic. I just want the toilets, the top down. This is a whole other show. I don't understand why it is that guys are expected to put the top down, but women aren't expected to put the top up. What is that about? Are we talking about the bottom of the toilet seat or the top of the toilet seat?
I don't know, but this
I'm
whole
talking
show,
about the top of the toilet
this
seat.
whole show is going down the toilet right now. All right, so let's get back on track. I think we're going to have to cover that in another episode.
Right.
So we're talking about finding that moment when you're just about to be mean and say, you know what? Let's think about the good thing about this guy, right? It's that's stepping back.
And it's not fluffy advice. Studies show practicing gratitude reduces stress and it boosts relationship satisfaction.
Okay.
I promise you.
And that's what we're all after, some relationship satisfaction, Angie.
Right.
Okay, so try that for a week. Every time you catch yourself tempted to criticize, replace it with a positive observation if you can. And you don't even have to be in a fight to do this, right?
No.
Like just when you're about to say, da-da-da-da, honey, whatever, can you not put the toilet seat down or what is it, up? Like don't do it.
Yes.
Say something nice.
I think we don't do that enough. I don't think we do that enough because we are always thinking about each other in some capacity. We want to make the other happy, but we're not great. I would say men and women aren't great at saying, I really appreciated that. That could take so much anger out of fighting.
Right. Yeah, but
We just want to be noticed.
just want to be noticed.
So what can we do today to future-proof our relationships against unnecessary conflict?
Well, here's a tip. Don't talk about it. Don't try and resolve it when you are angry.
No, nothing's going to get accomplished with that. So when in doubt, time out. Take those cooling off moments seriously. Let your partner know you're going to take a minute to think about things.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier, this isn't the dramatic door slam or angry. Just, take a minute. We're not in high school.
Right. But I do like a good door slam myself. Here's another one for you. Let's banish those toxic phrases.
Always.
Yeah. Never. You never do this.
You guys, take it out.
Yeah.
Everything will be nicer in your household. Always. Absolutely. And another one would be, another little wonder, can I have a do-over? Your partner will appreciate it. Trust me. Finally, stop bringing emotional baggage into every conflict.
I would actually like to take this moment after speaking with my lawyer to bring up one other thing that as a man that I notice, with guys, I get the sense that we have an argument, we have a fight, right?
Yeah.
And then it's over. It's done with, and that's it. We think the whole thing's been resolved, right? But with women, they're just waiting like crocodiles with their eyes just above the waterline to at any time in the future, right? A year later, you're just minding your own business and suddenly, thrash, he strikes.
Right.
And you're arguing about the same thing again.
Okay, well then what does that speak to? We just talked about she's still seeing things as she is.
Right.
So that is really the development of whoever you're in that relationship with. If that keeps happening and she's still brooding and she's still seething and she's still waiting for the next moment to jump, that's about her. Yeah. And I've been there. So I say it out of experience.
Right. So the message here is do the work, do the inner work, folks. There's no getting around it. Maybe you're going to go get some coaching. Maybe you're going to get some therapy if it's really serious. One of the things we talk about at Little Wonders is the power of journaling, right? Because we all know that we talk about stuff, but science tells us that when you write it down, you actually process it out of your system. So if you're struggling, write it down, right?
Ask yourself, why did that upset me so much? You will write things you did not even know were inside of you.
All right.
What was it that upset me in that argument?
So heal your unresolved wounds, right? And don't let them bleed out all over your loved ones. And an expression, Angie, that I know you love.
Yes, keep your side of the street clean.
That's right. Clean your side of the street.
Take care of your side of the street.
Yeah.
One of those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. To wrap up, as promised, here are 3 game-changing solutions from the Little Wonders playbook to make conflict easier and connection deeper.
All right. Solution number 1 is the power of the do-over. Okay. So this one is so simple, but so powerful. If you say something hurtful, stop, right? You've scored a point, but it's not going to be worth it in the end. Mm-hmm. Ask, can I have a do-over?
It's humility in action, and humility heals. If you find yourself saying hurtful things, then it's time to leave the room and cool off.
Right. All right. Solution number 2
yes,
is the tell me more. Okay. So when your partner voices a complaint or is upset about something, instead of going into defense mode, just say, tell me more. Help me understand what you're talking about. That turns you into their ally, not their adversary.
Immediately, you'll open up the lines of communication just by saying, tell me more. 3 words, you guys. 3 words. Yeah. Okay. And we've talked about banishing toxic phrases like always and never. because they force our partner into defensive mode that will escalate conflict every single time.
Yeah.
No always, no never.
Absolutely. If you find that your fights are getting worse, right,
Yes.
you need to sit down with your partner and talk about them in terms of how can we bring some conflict resolution skills to bear on our fights. We need to find a better way of resolving our conflicts because it's tearing us apart, right?
Mm-hmm. And the most important takeaway for today is 90% of the time, it's not about them. It's about you. Yeah. Remember, we don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. Yeah. So if you own that and you know that, it will 100% change that pattern in the ring on the mat. You don't want to keep going back into the ring on the mat.
Absolutely. And remember that these aren't big overhauls, right? They're just simple daily habits, simple ways of approaching, because that is a little wonder's way.
That's right. And that's a wrap for today. Remember, healthy conflict resolution isn't just about avoiding fights. It's about building bridges back to love and understanding.
So we hope that you're going to try out these tips the next time you're hurling plates at each other and see what the difference is that they can make, because they will make a difference. And if you have any questions or stories to share, we'd love to hear from them.
Yeah, we love to hear the stories of people actually trying out these little wonders.
Yeah.
So don't forget to visit House of Little Wonders. It's full of practical, powerful tips to enrich every area of your life.
Yeah. So this has been He Said, She Said, the Gen X Survival Guide. My name is Brian Asha.
And I'm Angie Geronimo. We'll see you next time.